Hey guys, for today's video, I have been wanting to make more shirts for myself. I own a lot of t-shirts, basically all I really wear, but I feel like that I need more nicer shirts in the fact that like a lot of the outfits that I would like to make, I don't really have any kind of shirts to go with them. And I've been kind of mulling it over in my head and like how I want to do it. This is going to be in a couple of different parts, I think. The first shirt that I want to work on, I have this pattern that I made a few years ago. It is based on a t-shirt that I own. It's right here. This is a Cloak brand crop top that I bought a while ago, and at the time I was just trying to figure something out for something that I thought I was going to be making at the time, and I just needed some kind of pattern to work out the top half. I think I was doing a patchwork dress, which I never actually made, but I needed some kind of pattern for the top because I couldn't figure out how to do it without something. So I ended up grabbing this crop top because I thought I would have, a skirt portion to this outfit. And I just quickly traced it out. And while I was doing that, I'm like, do I even need to separate the sleeves? Because I do not like sewing sleeves. I got this pattern out of it, and I made it so that the sleeve was fully attached and would not be a separate piece that I would have to sew on. Originally, I had cut away from the neckline. I knew that I didn't want any kind of like closures or buttons down the front or anything like that. And because the t-shirt is t-shirt material and therefore stretchy, I would need the neckline to be a little bit bigger. So I had originally cut it off about this much, and I had cut it off at the shoulder, and I meant to cut it off at the front. I didn't know if I didn't realize it at the time, but I made a quick mock-up with that pattern, and I got this. These two fabrics on the front I had used for a different mock-up and knew that nothing was ever going to come from it, so it was just in my bin for scrap fabrics. They were already sewn together. I didn't have enough to make a full piece anyway, so I decided to just leave it like that and have it be split down the middle. And then on the back, I just used some more scrap fabric that I had from a previous project. And I really liked how it turned out. I liked it's not full patchwork, but I liked the fact that it was technically reversible because it is completely symmetrical on both sides. And it's also a crop top because, again, like I said, I thought it was going to be like t-shirty type, like short sleeve top with a skirt attached. And so I made it. I unfortunately have never worn it. Or no, that's not true. I wore it once. Same with the cloak crop top, the t-shirt. I've only worn it maybe one or two times because I I don't know why I keep making crop tops when I feel really uncomfortable in them. The neckline sits too wide on my shoulders. It sits pretty close to the neck, but on the sides, because of that stuff that I took away on the sides, it sits kind of wide. So I fixed the neckline, I think when I made the brown dress years ago, to make it more like what the t-shirt originally was. As you can see on the pattern, I did add in that section back. The last thing I made was this sailor shirt. Same thing. The sleeves in the shirt is all one piece with a modified neckline. And I knew with both the dress and this, because there are buttons down the front, I can have it be a closer neckline. And again, it is a crop top, which I don't wear them. So the thing that I'm thinking of doing today, at least for this pattern in particular, I have a stack of fat quarters quilting cotton that I have picked out and I have washed them. And I'm trying to decide if I want to do something similar to this, where one half There are two different fabrics on one side, and then this again on the other side, since a fat quarter really doesn't get me a lot, because I was holding them up, and this is what a fat quarter is. It's a quarter of a yard, but it's the corner, not like a strip across the full length. And I was holding it up, and what kind of spurred this whole thing on was I watched the Stitchery's video where she made those wrap tops, and I had seen the person that she had mentioned, which I cannot remember their name. I'll put it right here. I believe I saw them on TikTok and she saw them on Instagram. And these wrap tops that they make, where it's literally just a rectangle with a hole in the center and ties on either end. And I didn't know if I actually wanted to do something like that, but that's what got me thinking about it, because the Stitchery used fat quarters. Now, she's much smaller than me, I assume, because one fat quarter, I believe in this orientation where it's longer, the width is longer, it's a perfect size for her to have it sit, you know, and be a long enough sleeve and enough coverage on the sides, and it also be long enough this way, even in this orientation. And holding it up to myself, to have it at my shoulder, it's very short. This might be a little high, but it's very short. And even if I did two pieces, it would be probably, trying not to bump the mic, be pretty long. I don't know. So I was thinking, well, what if I did it in this orientation? Well, then it's definitely too short or too narrow on the sides. So I would need to have two. Maybe it's long enough, but not really. It's still a little too short for me. So I haven't fully decided if that's even something I wanted to do, because with hers, she made it reversible in 4 different ways. Both front and back can be turned, and the whole thing can be flipped over and be both ways as well. I don't have enough fabric here to do it like that. I would probably only have it be one layer. If I did this wrap top and be reversible front and back, maybe. But again, in order to allow my head to pass through, the neck hole will have to be big enough, and I just don't like the idea of a really wide or like low neck hole, especially if it's low in the back as well, to ensure that it can be worn both ways. I don't know. I really haven't thought about it. Again, because the wrap top isn't really something that I see myself wanting to wear at all because of the tight nature of it. So I was thinking doing maybe the crop top, but using that pattern and maybe making just a little bit longer if I can. I really don't know if these are long enough on their own. If I might have to add another piece on the bottom, and it'd be like 3, 1, 2, 3 on both sides. That's not really how I planned it in my head. Some of the fabrics that I pulled kind of only work in pairs, so I would have to kind of figure that out. But that is the first shirt idea that I have. I tried the green sailor shirt on without unbuttoning it and found that I could fit my head through the hole easily. So thankfully I don't have to modify the neck hole in any way or add any kind of closure. I also had to find more fabric to use because the fabric that I initially had picked out was not enough to make anything cohesive. For the second shirt idea that I had, or maybe it's more like almost like a jacket, I guess, I was kind of inspired by, weirdly enough, when I was rearranging my dolls that are out on display and changing my BJD's clothes, I kind of had an old spark reignited. Ugh. I kind of had an old spark reignited when I was changing one doll in particular. Let me grab him real quick. So this doll wears traditional Chinese clothing. His whole story and backstory and all that is he's Chinese. But while I was doing research for this doll back in 2020, I ended up making a couple of pieces for myself. And I did feel a little weird about making them for myself because I am clearly a white man and I didn't want to be appropriating anybody's culture. So I really don't wear them at all. They're also not great for clothes. They're mostly, at the size that I made them, they're mostly like cover-ups. I also was struggling with the pattern a little bit. But what I was kind of thinking, because I liked the cropped nature, which is so funny considering I don't like crop tops, but as like a jacket in this wrap style with the cross collar, you can see here, I'll hold them up a little bit closer. It's got the wrap style and it's cropped. And I kind of liked the idea of that, where it would be a jacket and maybe I'd be wearing like a plainer shirt underneath and pants or a skirt or whatever. So I was kind of re-inspired to make something like this because I had been wanting to for a while, and doing just kind of an Asian inspired wrap jacket of some kind, or maybe it could be worn as a shirt, I don't know. But I have this fabric here. It's not a fat quarter, it's actually a remnant. It looks to be about a yard, and I kind of feel like I might have more, but I could be getting it confused with something else. But I was thinking I could maybe try and figure out some kind of like wrap cropped jacket thing that is Asian inspired using this fabric. So that is kind of what I'm thinking for the second idea. Something that I forgot to mention was that not only am I inspired by Chinese Hanfu, that's what they're called, I'm also inspired by Korean hanbok. And while doing a Google search to find some images to kind of show what hanbok looks like and kind of, show what my ideas were, I couldn't find any photos for the cropped jacket as a Chinese Hanfu style. So I found the folder of photos that I had gathered back in 2020 and found that the one that I thought was cropped all this time was actually just tucked into the waistband of the skirt. So the cropped Chinese Hanfu is not a thing. I don't know why I thought it was. The first thing I did was look at the Hanfu pattern that I had made back in 2020 and realized that it was so much bigger than I remembered it being. I don't know why I made it so big, maybe because I thought it needed to be very oversized and loose. I don't know the reasoning, but I decided I'm just going to use the crop top pattern that I used in the previous item and modify it slightly for what I'm going for. I was really having a lot of trouble with this fabric. this was the remnant that I think is about a yard, and it really wasn't enough to even get a full front piece and back piece. Because I didn't have enough fabric, I decided to pull more from my stash of quilting cotton, keeping in theme with the bee fabric that the initial pieces have been cut out of. Take two. I really wanted to try and improve on some of the things that I did on the first wrap jacket thing and incorporate some changes as well as try to make it fit more like how I actually wanted it to fit. I even looked at some tutorials on how to make Korean hanbok to kind of implement that and have this one lean more Korean and less Chinese. Once again, I had to pull more fabric for this one, even though I had already pulled more for it before. I keep underestimating how much fabric I actually need, and these fat quarters really do not have enough. Okay, I'm calling it quits there. I had more plans to do other shirts, but I kind of got wrapped up in the whole wrap jacket thing, and we're just gonna stop here for today. The first one, as you saw in the reveal, is the shirt. I like how it turned out. I like the fabrics that I used. I just wish I had put this one up in the top here instead of on the bottom, because it's one of the fabrics that I really loved and I wanted to use it. And I wasn't really thinking about the orientations of the fabrics at first. I was just kind of like, well, these two, this one's got strawberry flowers and strawberries. The two on the bottom is this floral print, and then this kind of a light blue patterned print, and they go together. Like I had said while working on this, and it's a reoccurring theme for all three projects, I keep underestimating how much fabric I'm going to need, and I had to keep pulling more and more and washing them and preparing them for using. All of it is quilting cotton, as I've said, and I would zigzag stitch all the edges before washing so I don't lose any fabric to fraying. And that's something that I don't show, is the fact that every single piece has zigzag stitches on it, even after I've cut stuff out of it. So the neckline, the armholes, the underarm sections, all zigzag stitched before I put it together. The fabrics that I used on the back, 3 of these, this one is quilting cotton. The other 3, I don't know what they're actually made out of. They came from the quilting cotton section as, a fat quarter bundle, but the material doesn't feel the same. I don't know, it's almost, maybe it's like a cotton sateen. It's maybe cotton, but just woven differently, so it feels different. You know how quilting cotton, when you wash it, it gets kind of fuzzy, like very lightly fuzzy. This fabric didn't do that. And these 3 panels are all like that. I only picked those 3. Well, the 2 on this side, I really liked the colors of. And then the rest of the fabrics that I had pulled at that time and washed, I really didn't love any of them. So I just kind of picked the ones that I tolerated the most. So it was this teal and then this blue. And other than this one fabric here, they all have silver screen printing on them. I don't know how well you can see that. Oh, this one doesn't have it. Oops. This one has it there. You can see it. This one has it. This one has it. I wasn't particularly thrilled about the silver screen printing. I thought at first that it was going to be more glitter glued on, not a screen print that is, shimmery. So at least it's not glitter glued on, which means it would be shedding everywhere. I do not like glitter at all. So that is the first shirt. I actually made it longer than I meant. I only wanted to make it a couple inches longer from the original crop top pattern. I ended up adding 7 inches. That's what my little ruler is. It's 7 inches, just because it was easy. And it ends up being long as like a normal t-shirt is. It hits my hips. That is perfectly fine. It just meant I could have more of the 2 bottom fabrics in the final thing. The next project is the wrap top using the B fabric. This fabric was a remnant, only a yard, like I had said, and it was not enough. So once again, I had to pull more fabrics, and I really didn't know what I was doing. I was just kind of guessing. I know that with Chinese Hanfu, the wrap nature of their tops tend to kind of cut like this and go all the way under the arm, and that's where ties are usually located, on side seams and then the front edges of those crossed collars. So I was just kind of guessing. I also didn't know how I wanted the front piece to go from that pattern, the crop top pattern, into the wrap part. So it's kind of cut off, and it causes this section here to be weird and kind of bubble up. It sits kind of away from the body when I wear it, because I didn't quite know what I was doing. when it came to that part of the collar. Again, didn't have enough fabric, so sleeves are different fabric. The two cross sections are both different. They're both a honeycomb pattern, but two different honeycomb fabrics. And then even the binding slash the ties slash the collar part is another fabric. I still wanted it to have something on this edge that is cross collar section and around the neck hole. Traditionally, it's like maybe an inch to 2 inches tall standing up. I didn't want a standing collar like that. So I just went with almost like a bias tape, but it wasn't cut on the bias. To just kind of have that like hint of that's what I'm going for. The wrap nature, because it's so up under my armpit, because again, I didn't have enough fabric, so I had to shorten it considerably. It's very hard to get those sections tied in tightly. And because I didn't like that too much, I wanted to try again and modify the pattern slightly and do more of what Korean hanbok looks like, where it has the collars shorter here. So this is my second attempt. I love this one a lot more, but I'm really annoyed by how many fabrics I ended up having to use. Initially, I only wanted to use 5. So the 2 front panels here, the 2 front panels here, and then this back fabric. That's all I originally wanted to use, but I quickly learned that I did not have enough fabric to have the sleeves be, I wanted the sleeves to be one sleeve this silver fabric and one sleeve this red and gold fabric, but it wasn't enough and it was just not working out for me. The orientation of the fabric when I was cutting them out also is different from front to back. For the front, to ensure to get that cross collar, I had it where it was long sides on the top and bottom and short sides on the side so that I could get enough distance. But for the back pieces, I sewed them long sides together and had that fold be the back center fold, which meant it was already shorter this way than the front panels. The front panels I'd already planned to add these extra bits at the bottom, but it was still too short. So I added a little bit of the excess that I had of this red and purple fabric to the bottom, but still it ended up too short. You can see on the inside here, this is the back panel, this is one of the front panels, and it was a full 1.5 inches short on this side and 1 inch short on the other side. So I had to figure something else out. And since I didn't have enough fabric of these two to use for the sleeves, I decided to kind of split them up the best I could and add another row of fabric to the bottom. It wasn't what I initially had planned. I do like how it turned out, especially because I switched the fabrics from side to side, because the red does match this parasol fabric, and the silvery blue does also match the birds and flowers fabric. And because I didn't have enough fabric of the red or the silver to do sleeves, I had to find another option. And someone suggested maybe like a peach color, which does also match both of the front fabrics. I do like how it fits a lot better. It's also much easier to tie since the ties are right here on both sides. But it ended up much longer than I wanted it. I wanted it to be the length of the original crop top pattern. And because of the whole sides, front and back not matching and trying to figure out how to fix it and just adding more on, it ends up hitting much lower than I wanted to. I wanted it to sit maybe about here, but it ends up much lower. But I will definitely make another one at some point, not right now. I don't know when I'll make shirts in general again. I still want to make button-up shirts of some kind. That was the plan, to do the t-shirt and then some kind of wrap thing this week, and then button-up shirts next week and make that all one video. But I'm just kind of shirt-outed about all of that right now. Of all the fabrics that I had pulled and washed, this is everything I have left. I've got 5 fabrics that I had initially pulled with the intention of making another shirt. I probably still will do that, or alternatively try to do the wrap top that I mentioned in the beginning that the Stitchery was doing. I also have the rest of those fabrics that don't feel like cotton and more teal fabric that matches the other one, and then just a bunch of other random stuff that I had washed just to have options, because I didn't know. This was from when I was trying to figure out the sleeves. So eventually I think I will make something out of this stuff since it is all washed and prepped with zigzag stitches. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy sewing, crafts, or anything to do with dolls, please consider a follow. I upload every Sunday, and I hope to see you there. Bye.